Call of Duty League is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Stay connected to what matters most with the best value in wireless.
In addition to hosting today's fundraiser and contributing $50,000 to the causes listed, the Will family, owners of Minnesota Røkkr and the Minnesota Vikings, committed earlier this week to a $5 million donation to social justice causes, as well as a $125,000 scholarship fund in George Floyd's name. They want to thank everyone for tuning in today and encourage you to donate at røkkr.gg/donate. The Call of Duty League is proud to support our teams and players in the stand against racism and inequality. If you'd like to support, go to callofdutyleague.com/impact for organizations recommended by our teams and links with information on how to get involved. Benson joined by Chance and Nameless. And Nameless, I'll say, I think yourself, Miles, and Momo really killed it at the top of the show. A fantastic job from all three of you. I think Miles really summed it up very, very well, saying, you know, we're an entertainment source. We're going to try and be as entertaining as we possibly can this weekend to hopefully give a little bit of relief for those that need it. And the next series, hopefully, should be an entertaining one. Atlanta FaZe versus Seattle Surge. I say that knowing full well that this is probably going to be a 3-0 in favor of Atlanta FaZe. But honestly, the big story I do want to touch on going into this series is going to be that of Seattle Surge, Damon Barlow. 3 rings, has retired. As someone who watched him compete throughout his entire career, I just want to say personally, thank you, Damon, for the incredible moments you provided the Call of Duty esports community. You're going to be dearly missed. Personally, hoping that we get to see you again, but Nameless, you played against Comber for so long. I mean, the guy's a living legend.
Yeah, man, he's one of the best players of all time. Every single team he was on was always a threat outside of this last team, and you know, it's just it was just a surreal
Not the way to go out, but you know,
it was a surreal feeling to see him retire after being one of the most winningest players of all time, and you know, it felt like Jordan retired. It felt like when Derek Jeter retired. Like, it's just wild, man.
Yeah, we'll take a look though at Seattle Surge. Is their keys to victory presented by Game Fuel. Nameless, I know you do these every single week, and you've been pretty much spot on. I'll give you your credit here. We'll take a look at Seattle Surge. Slack and Apathy have to return to their former selves.
It's the only way.
Needs help from his sub players. Only way to salvage
It's the
his
only
team.
way. All right, so like when I write these keys to victory, usually there's like 1 or 2 things that the team needs to fix, and you know, particularly for a series, like they can do something where it can propel them forward and maybe take that series. But going up against FaZe, like there is no just key to victory. Like these guys would have to change a ton of things. Like Slack and Apathy would have to be the championship players that they once were. Like Octane just needs help, and you know, having players on the team that haven't played that much throughout the season in pro matches, it's just going to be very tough, man. These guys would just have to show up and go absolutely off for them to beat FaZe. It's the only way.
Well, speaking of FaZe, we'll take a look now at Atlanta FaZe's keys to victory presented by Game Fuel. Use sub pressure to agitate Octane.
Yep.
This is Simpanabeezy's playground. Shut him down, and the game should be easy.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Honestly, yeah, you're probably right there, Nameless.
Yeah, it's very simple. That's their key to victory right there. Like, just pressure Octane and you'll win the respawns. And then in the Search and Destroy, that's pretty much a lock for FaZe, how dynamic they are and able to adapt mid-round. They should have no problem in the Search whatsoever going up against Surge. But if they were to face problems, it would be at the hands of Octane. So they need to use that sub pressure, agitate them, and it should be easy.
Chance, you
hey, Ben, hey, what's up? How you guys doing?
I'm good.
Dude, Friday. Love Call of Duty, bro. Let's go.
I think the honest truth is all three of us probably agree this is going to be 3-0, but Nameless, I'll let you go. Thank you as always for your fantastic insight and great job on your Game Fuel keys to victory. Chance, game about to get underway.
Yeah,
we'll
man.
start
What's
with
up?
Azir
How you
Cave.
doing?
I guess big picture. Let's be honest here. We all know that the memes Octane has been tweeting out. He knows full well this is not the best group that Seattle Surge can find themselves with. It's going to be very, very tough and very difficult to get out of. But realistically, when you see the map set before the series, is there a chance? Is there any chance at all here that we could see an upset in the making?
Realistically, Ben, I didn't bother looking at the map series because, again, that's just the expectation, right?
Okay.
I would say just to try to put a little bit of positivity into the Seattle's camp for the storyline is like they're thinking long term, right? If we learned any one thing from the entire year of Black Ops 4, the phrase was, it's never chalked. Like, we still have champs. There's still that, like, 2 million prize just for first place, let alone the entire prize pool at the end of the year. So, yes, the short-term expectation is not a good outlook, I will say, for the Seattle Surge in the slightest.
Yep.
It is long-term planning for this team now. There is one event that they should just be going full-on hard for, because of course, well, at least in this series, well, we've seen Azir Cave. You did ask about the map set. We've seen Simp on this map many times. He's 9-0 right now. He has the #1 kill record on this map and the #2 kill record on this map. Maybe this is the game where he gets the #3.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good on Azir Cave. That's for sure. I do want to welcome, of course, Proto. Call of Duty League debut for him. He's a name which has been around the Call of Duty community for quite some time. Very, very talented player. I guess for Seattle Surge now, it's about trying to let him see if he can try and be a fix almost. And I've seen a lot of kind of mumbling through the competitive Call of Duty community about whether he is going to be an answer, whether he is going to improve them or not. I'm kind of taking a stance where I don't think it can get really any worse, and I feel like Proto's playstyle may actually improve Seattle Surge.
One thing I'll say about Proto coming onto the team is something Octane was talking about. I think it was on the podcast. Is he just made a comment of like the very first scrim, one of the first things that happened was Proto just was yelling at his teammates for, I think it was something to the effect of not going like 100% and not calling out properly.
Ooh,
and if you're the new guy that is replacing one of the greatest of all time, you're very aware of how big the boots you have to fill are. And if Proto's coming that just guns ablazing, ready to like, bro, I'm here to play. We need to get our stuff together and try to turn this thing around. Like, I think that's a good mindset. I think Proto definitely brings value as the player, but again, it is big shoes to fill. It is a difficult spot for the team, so hopefully he'll be able to get this team to see a little bit more success, but obviously, potentially, a long time coming.
Well, in terms of map #1, Seattle Surge are still keeping it close. There's 1.5 hill currently gone. The score 60-35, advantage Atlanta FaZe. It's actually a slow start from Priest. He sits at 2-7. Stallion though 6-3, but it's that man that you mentioned at the start, Chance. It's Simp, 13-5. Very well, could add another kill record potentially onto his list.
I mean, in fairness, technically he slowed down, right? Like he started 9-0.
This is true, yeah.
And since then he's just been, doing his thing, having a normal game. But it is really just a hill where FaZe was able to effectively get pretty much that full 60 and extend that lead by quite a bit. Which the story of the seesaw kind of hardpoint style we have so far in this game means if Seattle does not have a ton of success on this hill, they're going to be at a massive deficit. So who better to look at than the ARs? But Octane, you can see pretty much the lone man. He's got one teammate nearby, and that is a lot of red arrows getting ready to take him over.
Yeah, it is. FaZe trying to flood straight into the hill. Major Maniac does find himself one. It was Octane that he shut down before instantly the trade from Proto came through. So for now, Seattle Surge do hold on to the hill as Slacked again trying to push through. He'll find two, not going to find the third. So far, so good here in this hill specifically for Seattle Surge. Again, all about keeping it close. You cannot allow Atlanta FaZe to break through. But more importantly, keep your eyes on that minimap. The rotation is going to be so important. And already #3, that's Slacked. He has such a big job, especially considering Apathy fell as well. Honestly, for me here, all eyes on Slacked. Simp looking to try and hunt him down. For now, nothing going Simp's way. He does have the support, but it is going to be Seattle Surge that get to the new hill first. And of course, again, we'll help them chip away at the Atlanta FaZe lead, currently 98-72. He's sitting at 5-12, still a slow start from him. We'll see if he can try and turn things around.
Try to turn things around. Make sure, try to keep your mic unmuted as well. I don't even know how I managed to pull that off, but it's very confusing. But either way, beautiful stuff.
I thought you were being dramatic. I thought that was what you were going for. You were building up the suspense.
I was casting, I was breaking everything down, and you cut me off, and I was like, Ben, how rude of you. And then, I got the little red light on, so that's on me. But either way, beautiful stuff coming out from Seattle in the past two hills. Slacked eventually got the job done. Octane, by the way, seems like he's been having a pretty fantastic game the past two hills. He has been feasting, but even with all that success, you can still see just the pressure game that FaZe is able to play and just making sure that Seattle, when they're getting points, it's only going to be a couple at a time.
Yeah, and making them work extremely hard for every single point. But as we head into our second rotation, the game is tied 99 points to 99. A lot of FaZe do have the early advantage here on P1. But again, the spawn's still favorable here for Seattle Surge. It's going to be all down to aBeZy to push through, over bridge, try to influence the spawns, hit the flank with his teammate Simpu. Well, Simp basically just did it all himself. I'm sorry, aBeZy, you were just there a little too late. The pinch comes through, he finds the final kill, and just like that, Atlanta FaZe flip the spawns while still being inside the hill.
And this has just been a masterclass of this first open hill, right? I mean, even off the rip last time, it was Simps started out 9-0. They're able to get 35, 40 seconds on the time or the hill that usually you get the least amount of time in the game. A lot of these P1. So FaZe really back-to-back has done a pretty fantastic job. But of course, now the issue for Seattle is, yes, you're going to be able to get that scrap time. The question is, can you break through and get those spawns for new? And maybe a small opportunity for these players trying to keep on through the cave, but FaZe, it looks like they have it locked down, at least for the moment.
Slack, fortunately for him, not going to have massive influence on this next rotation. Credit to Panda, though. 19 and 16, leading the way here for Seattle Surge. 30 seconds full time to his name. And does just overtake the playing category for Seattle. He finds himself one extra kill, but it's Atlanta FaZe ready and waiting to try and break inside the hill. Unfortunately for Major Maniac, that's short-lived. Proto shuts him down. Speaking of him, 12 and 17 for his debut. Nothing too incredible, but over a minute's hill time to his name. And more importantly, forget about individual stats of your Proto. If you can come out map number 1 and take it against Atlanta FaZe, it's a hell of a debut.
I was about to say, it's a very tight game, and how good of a story would it be for Seattle is that the entire community, including us 3 or 4 minutes ago, were basically just nope, Atlanta's going to win this game. We're just going to move on with our day sort of thing. And if they're able to deal with that sort of adversity and start to bounce back this early, I was thinking long-term champs for them, but you never know when it comes to Call of Duty what's going to happen on any given day.
Oh, Atlanta FaZe get the scrap time there. That's going to push them to about 159. If they collect all that time, they won't. Early rotation has come through, though, for Seattle Surge. So, again, they will chip away at a very, very small Atlanta FaZe lead. There you see Proto ready and waiting for that push to come through. The push still has not made its way to the hill, mainly thanks to Octane and Panda both finding kills as Atlanta FaZe try and pinch in towards the hill. Proto, man of the moment, though, inside the hill. He may have a big task unless Apathy finds himself 2. Almost found himself 3 there in the feed, but Slack is there to assist. Seattle Surge holding the hill.
Doing a very nice job as well. You see, FaZe took the time to get the spawn flip, but at least the pressure on the hill is kind of close to that 50-50 battle. Now it's up to Apathy up top, trying to make something happen, get a couple kills, and able to shoot one player in the back, and there you go. The re-break on the hill. Seattle doing a very nice job. Every single player contributing and making sure that they can get that scrap time. And they're going to be able to take the lead, bump it up by quite a bit, and now we're going back to a hill where Seattle actually torched them on it last time. This time, though, you see FaZe, they have the full setup. They got players all the way pushed out the back. Players pushed up cave. This is not going to be fun for Seattle to try to break through, because even though Apathy's getting these kills, the players are going to be spawning right behind him.
I was going to say, fantastic patience for him. The problem, it may have just taken a little too long. Unfortunately for him, 2 or 3 players from Atlanta FaZe actually spawn behind. That's going to allow Atlanta FaZe to put more pressure onto the hill very, very quickly here. But Seattle holding on. Octane finds his 30th kill of the game. Currently on an 8th streak, by the way. Seattle inside the hill, building a lead. Atlanta FaZe, I didn't think I'd be saying this, but we're going to have to break this hill relatively soon here with Seattle Surge. Their lead may be just too big, and they may actually close things out on the next hill.
And it was this hill, holding it from this side, where last time it was Panda and Octane that were going off. This time, still on the 8 spree. You expect him to win effectively every one-on-one gunfight gifted to him, and if you don't shoot at him, you're certainly going to die. That's going to be a triple for Octane. Might be able to get the fort. It takes Simp to shut him down. But even after all that, Seattle have built themselves not a comfortable lead, but 40 points ain't nothing to shake your head at, and they have the rotation to nuke Ben. This game right now is Seattle's to lose.
This is a fantastic spot for Seattle Surge to be in now. It's about composure of closing out game number 1. Selling him on bridge, waiting for the perfect time to start his aggressive push towards the hill. 30 seconds and Seattle Surge will claim victorious here on map number 1. Time is ticking. Octane wins the big gunfight. That's actually 2 for him. Now the spawn's coming through. Seattle Surge are in a great spot. Atlanta FaZe, you have to push into the hill as quickly as you possibly can. There's a pinch starting to develop, but I don't even think you have time for that. Seattle Surge potentially with a massive upset here in game number 1. Slacks will fall. A team kill comes through. Octane still watching the side of the hill, and Chance, I can't believe it. Seattle Surge take game 1 against Atlanta FaZe.
And not only did they take it, Ben, they took it clean. 251-75.
Wow.
Outside of the opening break, Seattle had played fantastic. And dude, this would be one of those times, as much as I love the Astro Gaming listen-ins, during the game when we do them, this is one of those moments where I just wish we could listen to Seattle, what they were like after the game, what they're going to be talking about before the game too, because if you ever need a confidence boost, you're going against a team with a 15-2 record in the league that is dominant at everything. and you just bullied them out in map 1 when you're playing with 2 players on your team that were substitutes at the start of the year. That's got to feel good, Ben. It really does.
I want to point out from Proto's point of view, he finishes the game 19-20. You might not think that's all that impressive. 2 minutes, 51 seconds hill time from Proto. A big shift of objective work put in there from him. And Seattle Surge have just taken game 1 against Atlanta FaZe. I cannot stress enough how little I actually expected that to happen. I genuinely was like, this is going to be a 3-0. This will be one of those real quick series. We'll start our prep for tomorrow. We'll watch the rest of the games. Seattle Surge say, no, that is not going to be the case. We'll take a look now at our quick scope, and we'll compare both of our 2 teams and just kind of how they look in the league. And as I'm sure many of you know, it is very, very different. You look at CDL points, 170 for Atlanta FaZe, 40 for Seattle Surge. Their match records drastically different as well. 15-2 for Atlanta FaZe, 4-12 for Seattle Surge, and obviously their game record there at the bottom. But overall, I think you hit the nail on the head there at the end, Chance. That was just superbly played by Seattle Surge. Genuinely, it was just fantastic to watch.
And I will be a little bit revisionist, because when you asked me about the maps and modes before, I kind of said, like, I don't really care what the maps are. Just outright expectation is FaZe getting the win. But I will say, for a map like Azir Cave, we talk about Sim breaking all the records, but I think, when he dropped 49 kills the first time, they beat London by, like, a point or something like that. It was, like, within 10 points they're getting these wins when he was dropping bombs. So I think you could make the argument, if you'd like to, that is not the cleanest map FaZe has had, at least in terms of their kill to points production level. But even still, again, that is incredibly impressive from Seattle. I still think the road gets way more difficult down the line, because now we're going to search and destroy, which has been a theme for these guys the entire time. But still, you never know, Ben. You never do.
There's a chance, I guess. There's a chance, and I guess I may start to believe if they can go 2-0 up in this series. But even then, you never know against this Atlanta FaZe squad. Just so lethal. Of course, there's a glance at it was a great performance from Simp. He finished with 33 kills to his name, just 21 deaths in game 1, but it was not enough. Priest's slow start continued. He finishes over double negative at 13-30 from game number 1. Not the best performance from him. And then, of course, Seattle Surge, the new man, Proto. What can he add to this squad? So far, so good. A massive objective shift, like I mentioned before, 2 minutes, 51 seconds, and he goes pretty much slap bang even. A great way to start your debut, Chance.
A great way indeed. And of course, now moving to Search and Destroy, Proto's going to have to be a player at least we kind of keep in the back of our minds, because new man on the roster is going to be doing, I would imagine, at least a slightly different role from Karma, right? Like, Proto is a player, watching him at least through like the Black Ops 4 season, if you don't even want to go deeper than that, he plays in just stressful situations. Like, he will put himself in one of the worst places you can stand on the map, in between the entire enemy team, and somehow just like occasionally works a little bit of magic, makes it work out for him. And he is definitely the type of player that, like, it is nice if you're the guy shooting over him. He will bait his brains out all day long, try to set up players like Octane as much as he possibly can. So keep an eye on him, I would say, throughout the duration of this map. See how much he can contribute to helping out his teammates get the kills, if not him doing it himself. But even still, if you want to watch a lot of kills, maybe a Beezy, not a bad player to start with either. On the flip side, you talk about aggressive subs, you got some on him both sides.
Specifically on this map, we've seen his first blood record. Just, it seems ridiculous every single time we watch him play.
First blood or first blooded.
Yeah,
it depends.
It can go either way, but you know he's going to be involved somewhere, that's for sure. Sip actually has Snipe out. We'll see his quick line of sight as he plays for maybe a first blood. I can't believe it. Connects with Octane as he's jumping across, and for Octane, enjoy that kill cam. It's going to be a nice one.
And there's what would have been a first blood for a Beezy if his teammates had taken down. Goes on the very fast flank, able to pick up a double kill. And it is moments like that, yes, the snipe from Simp is nice, but the double kills are the type of plays that are just kind of going to win you the round. So now it's on that 2v4 retake, but bomb down. Good luck, have fun.
Yeah, this is pretty much an impossible retake for Seattle Surge, but we'll see if they can maybe make magic happen. That kill should secure the round. Proto for a 1 versus 4, not going to happen. And one thing I do want to highlight is Atlanta FaZe win round number 1 is aBeZy's presence on the map. And as this map starts to develop, I want you to pay close attention to him on the mini-map and just the way he keeps the opposition guessing, right? He'll do something one round and it will work for a first blood. You may try and replicate that in a few rounds and maybe it doesn't work, but he's consistently making you think, where is he going to be on the map? And the way he forces other teams to adapt to his playstyle is truly an impressive feat.
That actually is a good point. Like, it would be interesting to hear what the kind of comms of like other teams are going to be for Seattle, because it really should be one of the key factors for the map is like figure out where aBeZy is, we'll deal with him, and then everybody else will be sort of in roughly expected spots. Now we can go back to playing the odds, but he definitely is the type of player on Gunrunner that until you find him, you're going to have to be very concerned, and it's going to be tough for you to be able to make plays as a team.
Definitely will. The Seattle Surge do find a first blood. It came from Proto's nade. Selling though instantly finds Proto. The trade makes this 4v4 for now. Under a minute still to go. Priestley will find Panda as well, so an advantage numerically here for Atlanta FaZe. Actually springs into life, as does Octane. So trades back and forth, leaves us in a 2v2. Octane finds the pick on Teselium. Now at 2v1. We're giving aBeZy a ton of credit for first blood involvement. That wasn't the case this round. However, he does find at least one, so we'll trade it out. Finds himself in a 1 versus 2. Unfortunately for him, though, not a lot of time on the clock.
And of course, he has to clear out a deep portion of the map as well. If Octane's alive, you know a guy might be far away, and that's why you see aBeZy taking the time to go all the way around, but actually should just straight up have the free kill on Octane. If he doesn't see him, his teammates will. And now 1v1, you know it's Apathy. You know he's got a sub. You expect him to be close. He spots him on the rock, but Apathy takes him down, coming up clutch for his team when they need him the most. Apathy in search has been great all year long.
I was a little worried right here, and then Apathy just regained composure, the repeat, and aBeZy realistically no chance whatsoever. A nice little clutch there from Apathy, an easy one though, I think it's fair to say. Cleans up the 1v1, wins the round. Seattle Surge tie things up.
Now we go back to the old faithful for Surge on defense. Find aBeZy, figure out where he's going to end, and then play around that. You don't necessarily have to kill him as long as you just kind of keep him contained, but you got to make sure you stop the playmaker. And this time, actually, Priso might be the guy debating on going on a flank while this bomb leans towards the B side.
Yeah, aBeZy. Instead, he wanted to actually play inside green, I believe that was, and instead, as you mentioned, Priester, his job watching the flank. Unfortunately, he dies for first blood. That opens up the flank. aBeZy now with a ton to do. This is a tough spot for him to be in, as Octane also finds Selly, and the trade is there. 3 versus 4. Advantage Seattle Surge. Simp with a double. Slack trades that out. Over to Proto's POV now, as a quick peek over towards that bomb site, and aBeZy will find Slacked, and numbers dropping. Proto again left by himself, and I don't know how he won that fight, but Proto makes it a 1v1. A 1v2 on your debut, not going to happen just yet. Atlanta FaZe close out round number 3, 2-1 up.
Good Lord. I mean, where do you want to start for the breakdown of the round, right? That was an effective 3v5, I think, very briefly for the side of FaZe. And Sim goes a little bit crazy. I think he had probably the biggest moment of the round. He was up top crates, one's the straight up 1v1 gunfight. Then he should have been dead to rights, but nice little bunny hop, well, not a hap, to take down Apathy as well. And that's a kill. Apathy they win that round 100% of the time, but unfortunately he doesn't, and Major Maniac was able to get the 1v1 towards the end as well. So great stuff.
Seattle Surge back on the attack here in round 4. Used looking mid-map. Nobody home just yet. Seattle, slow and patient push over towards B. They should have site control, but can they get bombed down? There's the first blood. Lovely way for Apathy to just adapt to aBeZy. He waited. He expected the vent push to come through this round. Reads the situation, gets the first blood. So step 1 of the process of beating Atlanta FaZe on this map is done for this round at least. Now it's about closing the round out. You have the man advantage. You have bombed down. Now it's just about watching the angles and watching the cross.
Smokes, though, make it confusing. Slack, though, with the big one-on-one. Gonna get the trade as well. And Seattle, they get the first blood. They convert the round. They had the perfect setup, and they take him down 1 by 1. This is a brand new team, Ben. Calling it now. Brand new team. They don't throw away the 5v4s, or at least not this time. But again, just very well executed. I think we saw a ton of setups from them, even in the hard point, that paid dividends, that went beautifully for them, and they started winning the gunfights. Same thing there. They put themselves in the perfect spot. Everyone was in the right position. They all knew what each other was going to do, who's watching the flank, who's watching the bomb, which side of crates are you paying attention to, making sure they win the gunfights as well. Beautiful stuff. Tied up 2-2.
Overall, great search and destroy starting to develop. Priest's slow start in game 1 has, however, continued here in game 2. Again, double negative in game 1. 1 and 4 start things up here in the search and destroy. We'll keep our eyes on number 9 on the minimap as this game starts to develop. See if he can maybe turn that around. For now, though, it's aBeZy on your screen. So be watching that cross, and well, that was COD timing if you've ever seen it. He will luckily live. There is a flank starting to develop, though. I believe it's actually going to be Proto with a lot of work to do as he pushes through vents. The question is, will aBeZy read the play? It looks like he has, but timing goes against him. Proto finds the pick. 20 seconds on the clock, and Proto, being fast and furious, knows he has to be aggressive, make the push. Would have been great if Slack challenged at the same time. Unfortunately, that isn't going to be the case, but they have them pinned. Major Maniac, though, does win an incredible 1v1, and Panda with the trade, but there's still one player left. Panda gets the gunfight. Is he going to get the defuse to reload? Oh, has it cost him? I'm honestly not sure. 3 seconds. Is the defuse going to come through? No, it's not. Bomb explodes.
And oh my God, you talk about those stressful rounds, you talk about players putting themselves in aggressive positions. The play was actually set up and executed almost perfectly from Seattle. They had everyone pinned back over towards the tracks. They had to be the cutoff man. Panda, a half a second, if that, honestly, 0.2 seconds on the clock that he probably missed it by to maybe save his teammate on the gunfight, but I believe it was Selim that made sure he gets that final kill in the end. So a stressful round, a tough one, and not an easy round to swallow, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
Atlanta FaZe back into the lead, 3-2. William, 6-4 performance thus far. aBeZy right behind him at 5-4. First blood this time, though, for Octane. So the man advantage back in Seattle Surge's favor. If you remember, their last attacking round was a dominating one. No one fell. It was a clean round. So far, so good to repeat that success here in this round. 2 players from Atlanta FaZe down, Selim and aBeZy. Honestly, if Priester isn't too careful, he may be joining them, spectating his teammates. Apathy right behind the doors. He obviously knows Priester's there. Now they try and break through. The trade has to come through. Priester reads it. Unfortunately, can't find himself too. Simp now up with Major Maniac to try and produce a 2 versus 4.
And because of what Simp just saw, I actually would have imagined that they know they're going towards the A site, and certainly when Priester falls, but it looks like FaZe actually have no idea. They clearly think this bomb is being wrapped to B when you have all 4 players right now from Seattle swarmed over on this A site. So that was just a very well executed read from Seattle, just to stick to their guns and get the bomb down at A, because now this is an almost impossible situation for Simp and Major Maniac to try and pull off.
35 seconds. The pick has to come quickly if Atlanta FaZe are going to have any chance of giving themselves a 2-round cushion. Here in game number 2, Simp may find the first pick here shortly. But Seattle, being so patient, so coy, Proto gets the information, busts straight through the door, an aggressive play, and just like that, Seattle Surge tie things up, 3-3.
And that's an interesting round because, like, obviously fantastic stuff by the Surge, but I think there was a communication breakdown maybe from the side of FaZe, right? Like, I thought for sure after Priester gets the 1 kill and calls out, yo, all of these players are in events surrounding the area, there's trades. Simp was on top of the train and he jumped up and he could see that none of the players had crossed mid-map yet. Like, I think someone on FaZe should have been able to make the call of like, hey, they're definitely still towards A. We don't need to wrap this back, but either way, tying things up 3-3. Now FaZe, last time they tried to go to the A site, thinking a little bit different this time, potentially just playing for picks.
May have just been Simp fearing that he got bad timing and may have just missed it by a little bit. Either way, though, Seattle tied up 3-3. Atlanta FaZe back on the attack. It's going to be a slow round here from Atlanta FaZe as aBeZy will find himself first blood. Panda, that isn't your event. Be very careful pushing that one. aBeZy ready and waiting as always, finds himself that first pick.
Even still, though, for Seattle, still potential over towards the crate side if they can get these picks on FaZe once they move into the bomb, which is exactly what Proto's going for. The timing does not work out. Now Proto in a tough spot. And
that was beautiful bait from Atlanta FaZe. They said, you know what, throw a couple of smokes, see if maybe anyone's going to check the bomb. Proto does just that. Unfortunately, though, they didn't sniff him out. Don't find aBeZy, so bomb down. Seattle Surge at least have that information, but they don't have the numbers back in their favor just yet. For now, 3 versus 3. Octane, Apathy, Slack versus Selim, Simp, and Priester. Selim has retrieved bomb, has it in hand. There's a big flank starting to develop. That is coming in from Priester, so keep your eyes on that. These gunfights, they're prolonged. They're going to be tragically bad for Seattle Surge. There's the free pick. Atlanta FaZe win the round, go back up into the lead, 4-3.
And that was good stuff by FaZe, obviously. I do just want to say for a moment, that's the exact type of position I was talking about for Proto earlier on, where he just somehow finds himself in between the entire team.
It's ridiculous,
where he's guaranteed to die. Like, there's no way you survive that. And even still, he did find the kill, right? Like, he made the right play. He didn't crack under pressure and try to escape once he realized, oh, man, that smoke was a bait this entire time. Like, does make a good play. Unfortunately, FaZe made the better one with the flank coming in and Selim getting all the kills.
Yeah, as you said, made the best of a pretty tough spot, to be fair. There's now pressure on Seattle Surge once again to tie things up. Another first blood. This time it's Slack. 7 and 5, a great performance from him. He's joined by Octane and Proto, all 3 players. 7 and 5 so far, but it's Apathy's POV we'll take a look at now. He knows one player from Atlanta FaZe is up crate. Still, the push starting to develop once again over towards B. Atlanta FaZe with a man down is going to be pretty hard to try and keep control of this B side. They'd love to try and find a pick if they can as Seattle push over towards the site, but Proto, everybody has bomb in hand, is being very aggressive. He gets the support there from Slack, and Proto isn't done just yet. Maybe a little too aggressive, considering bomb was in hand. Slack now has to do his best to retrieve the bomb. Meanwhile, Celium's watching it cross. Simp has come to assist. This could all have collapsed before our eyes here for Seattle Surge, unless Octane can somehow restabilize the round. He'll find one mid-map. Celium, be careful peeking that doorway. Octane running to try and beam once again. 3 versus 2. Seattle Surge, from what looked like maybe a few scary moments, have recomposed themselves, and they'll recompose the round and take it as well. 4-4.
Bro, Proto is a maniac. Like,
he's kind of crazy.
Dude, I totally get that the play call is like, all right, push forward, let's find these kills, but that was super nerve-wracking to watch the bomb carrier just go full send and commit to flying.
Send it.
Like, how many head glitches in different spots can someone play in the back of the map? And Proto, like, just full committal, but hey, they
Proto
got
heard the call. Someone called it, and Proto said, all right, I'll listen. I mean, I'm not going to listen to my team in that situation, and it works, right? It works out in Seattle Surge's favor. Again, tied up 4-4. This Seattle back on the attack. Proto will be carrying bomb. 7 and 7 for him here in game number 2. But for Seattle, they have to try and hunt down BZ. The trade was nowhere near. Not really sure what Slack was expecting from that. But throwaway first blood, if I'm honest.
Throwaway first blood, and well, I don't know if we're frozen or back or what the deal is, but the gameplay right now, not cold at all, Ben. Very hot. Super hot fire. Great stuff so far.
Wait, is your feed frozen?
I have no idea. I don't really know.
My feed's great. I can see everything.
No, I mean, I can see everything just fine. Look, I don't know what's going on. All I know is this bomb is getting planted at B. FaZe are giving it up for free, but they do have the man advantage. That means they trust their retake. But of course, the retakes are going to be difficult when, again, Seattle has the setup that they want. They got players looking around vents potentially to cut off mid. Apathy needs to win the gunfight, but BZ just had the better angle.
Push comes to shove in the crucial round. It looks like Atlanta FaZe may have done just enough. Proto and Panda do make it interesting now. 3 versus 3. Time is ticking. Octane, right place, right time. The trade surely comes through, but no! Support to the rescue, and now Major Maniac in 1v3. I can't believe it. Seattle Surge. A 3v5, was it not?
That was a 3v5. Yeah, it was the 4v5 when Apathy loses the gunfight to a BZ and Vents, and that means every single player for Seattle is basically tucked into their spawn. But I did kind of talk about it, right? The setup is still good. You still get Octane in the back looking over crates with the AR. You still got Slacked off to the side to be the cleanup crew when he needs to be towards the middle of the map. Like, the setup is still good. You still have to pull off some impressive kills to make it happen, but the retake not executed well by FaZe. And now we're round 11 for Seattle potentially go up 2-0 in the series.
Give the fans what they want. Round 11 underway. Atlanta FaZe on the attack. They've won all their attacking rounds. I believe every single attacking round has been won this map, if I'm not mistaken. And Seattle Surge find something defensively to go their way. Now, a few rounds ago, smoke bait was thrown by Atlanta FaZe on the attack when they went over towards B. If that is the same, it could be disastrous this round for Seattle Surge because they have stacked this B site. They are ready and waiting. Try and make that push. Time is ticking. It's like maybe player to make the play for Seattle was Simba Puck Blue Crate where he's been. The names are being thrown. They should have all the information in the world. First blood does come. It's Broto. Ring around the rosy. Finds a BZ. Now Sim springs into life. He'll find one. Instant trade. Slack was still up top. That's going to slow down Atlanta FaZe quite drastically here as Celium cannot push up to the site just yet. 3 versus 4. Seattle with 30 seconds until they potentially go 2-0 up, but it's Priester once again. He's flanked a few rounds in a row. Is he going to try and make the same play? The problem is number 5, Panda's actually watching this exact flank as 2 players drop. There's the flank being watched by Panda. He wins it! Seattle Surge 2-0 up against Atlanta FaZe. I never in a million years expected to be saying that out loud today, but here we find ourselves with Seattle playing some fantastic Call of Duty.
Fantastic Call of Duty and great stuff towards the end. I don't know if exactly it was the first 10 wins were all on offense, but it was definitely offensive sided. So you talk about Seattle, like not like back against the wall or anything like that, but it seems like in terms of like the standings of the season, pretty much backs against the wall, going against one of the best teams in the game, the team all the way towards the top of the standings. It's around 11. You're on defense. That's not the situation you want to be in and still manage to clutch up. First blood coming in from Proto was gorgeous. The trades from Slack right after that were nice as well. And this is not the series. I expected to be casting Ben, but that is why you never call, like, what is it? It's never chalks, Fat Lady sings, all the little platitudes we could talk about, but whatever it is, Seattle up 2-0.
I just want to point out that cheeky little smile there from Apathy as Seattle Surge find themselves 2-0 up against Atlanta FaZe. We'll be back after this with Game 3. What is going on?
Fire Nubsy, they said. Ben, this is the point I was trying to make earlier. We're asking about how the cast is going.
Oh, never mind. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Massive apologies about the delay. Completely not in our hands, unfortunately. That's the problem when you do in online live broadcast. Sometimes tech can fail you. We had a catastrophic meltdown of our tech. Either way, though, everything should be good. Everything should be fine. You haven't missed any of the action. Do not fear. As things stand, Seattle Surge are still 2-0 up. You haven't missed any of the gameplay. And honestly, just to reiterate, if you're just tuning in, maybe you saw word, Call of Duty's happening. Let me go check it out. Seattle Surge are playing out of their minds. Fantastic Call of Duty, 2-0 up, and rightfully so against Atlanta FaZe, who many kind of looked at again coming into this weekend, saying, all right, well, this is a chance for them to win yet another event. I mean, you talk about their group, the way that kind of mini bracket develops here, Chance. If Atlanta FaZe were to lose, oh boy, would that be a curveball.
I mean, I think genuinely with what the upset I don't know if you want to call it an upset. I'm definitely going to call it an upset from the first series. Between that and then every single person that made a prediction, I just think, or at least 99.9. So potential for some craziness, as 2020 has just been a non-stop roller coaster of absurd stuff that is impossible to predict. So why not let it impact the Call of Duty world as well, I assume. So we'll see what happens in this series, going over towards a Hackney domination. And not trying to jinx anything, not trying to make any weird things happen, but this has been the best game mode for for him. But at the same time, it's a great map for FaZe as well. I believe they're 7-2 on it.
Well, a few moments later, and Game 3 is underway. Seattle Surge versus Atlanta FaZe. Seattle 2-0 up in the series, and as Chance rightfully says, on the year, this has actually been somewhat of a saving grace of a game mode for Seattle. They've definitely looked very, very good in domination. Problem, of course, here is that Atlanta FaZe will want to try and make that reverse sweep happen. However, for Seattle, it's continuing where they left off after that into mission, control, and off to a decent start as well here, Chance.
Yeah, trying to melt the ice, trying to get back in the swing of things, because obviously Seattle, again, we're very, very hot coming into this, and maybe not really slowed down at all. Proto with a big double kill, and he is in a power position. He never really needs to lead this L area, right? He's making sure FaZe are going to constantly be spawning out. He's got his teammates watching the rat back. Seattle, again, this is something we talked about quite a bit in the hard point, even more in the S&D. Right now, their setups are on point.
Definitely are. BC should secure B here. Just jumped off a little early. Unfortunately for him, a pinch started to happen at B, and he's all on his lunge. So Seattle will retake control of B as the neutral comes through. This map somehow actually stayed alive throughout all that chaos. I thought for sure he should fall. Not the case. Seattle have capped up B, and for Sim, maybe a flank over towards B could start to come through. They get 3 players, make that 4, 5 players down. This is the chance now for Atlanta to regain some control.
Still, though, Apathy is nearby, and, well, as soon as you say it, he gets dealt with. The good news for Seattle, at least they're able to get the C flag pretty quickly. They're still going to have that 2 flag cap, but now this is where the pressure is on. The map is now flipped on its head. FaZe is going to be very close to getting their setup, so pressure on Octane. If this B flag goes away in towards the FaZe, which it is going to, this is where the type of game can start to spiral out of control.
Seattle Surge, 6-point lead. However, as you mentioned, Atlanta FaZe currently 2 flags to 1. Seattle's trying to break in towards the B flag from the C side of the map. 2 players from FaZe actually spawn top side, so they may actually want to neutralize C if that's going to be the shot call. It comes from Selly, and unfortunately he dies. Still very close game as Seattle trying to retake control of B unsuccessfully thus far off the 1 attempt. Can they get maybe a little better here as they push through for the second time? They're going to have to deal with Major Maniac first. Unfortunately, unsuccessful. Keep your eye on the minimap, though. Number 2, that's going to be Apathy. As I say that, he instantly falls. Atlanta FaZe starting to retake that control chance.
It's the first attempt at the hero play to try to go around and try to get that A flag that gets shut down immediately. And you got Major Maniac that's just been hanging out in this position for such a long time. And again, you really don't have to leave. The difficulty for Seattle in this spot is they have to go through so many power positions, check so many corners just to get to the B site. It is not an easy feat. And you can see they got a little pressure over that area, but Proto completely by himself. He's not going to be able to make the hero play on the flag. So Seattle really just trying to bite for anything they can to get any sort of pressure on the map. But FaZe right now is suffocating them. They are giving them nothing.
Yep, they most definitely are. Still holding B and still holding the lead. More importantly, Proto not having success there. 2 minutes to go here in the first half of Game 3. We'll see if Atlanta FaZe hold on to their 2-1 flag advantage and more importantly build themselves could potentially be quite a sizable lead. Of course, if they can somehow get a neutral over towards C, that would be fantastic for them. Seattle, though, once again, trying to hold on here. Proto pushes through on the map number 4 on the minimap. He's actually over towards A. And he's doing a good job of just distracting Atlanta FaZe, if nothing else. The problem is there's no one from Seattle that can push over towards B, so B remains under Atlanta FaZe control. And hence, I'm starting to worry a little bit here for Seattle Surge that they need to do at least a little bit of damage limitation, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, there was maybe like 3 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock when I said this game could start to spiral out of control. And I said that when FaZe was losing. It's because of this right here. FaZe was just very quickly able to get that AB set up. They had all the pressure they wanted, and it can just be incredibly difficult to break. This is the first moment, really, Seattle's had a shot over towards B. They're going to be, actually, no, they're not even able to get the neutralization. It looks like the double nade coordination between Simp and Beezy was able to take him down, and that is step number 7 of how difficult it can be to get that B flag. You get all the kills, you finally get pressure, and now you got nades raining down upon you, and again, spiraled out of control just a little bit. FaZe now has themselves a fairly comfortable lead.
Yeah, they'll be feeling very confident when they head into the second half. For Seattle, though, really, with about 3 minutes of attempts of trying to break the Atlanta FaZe setup, all unsuccessfully. They really threw everything at them, from B pushes to quick overextends towards A, sneaks. Everything was sniffed out by Atlanta FaZe. A fantastic first half here in game number 3. The lead should be around about, what, 31-ish points as we head into the second half. So it's not, I guess, unmanageable if you're Seattle. It's possible, right? It's just going to be so hard.
Yeah, and I think the important thing is they're really going to have a good opening break, right? Because, I mean, we saw exactly what FaZe. It took FaZe about 1:45 seconds, maybe 2 minutes before they were able to flip the map on its head, and then for 3 minutes they were just in complete control. That's effectively the amount of time that Seattle has the exact same thing to do. They get no more than 1:45, 2 minutes on the clock before they're going to have to make sure they get that AB set up and hold the flags for the entire time. And that's assuming after they get the setup, they can hold it for the entire time, which is going to be difficult. So an opening break right here is going to be incredibly key for Seattle to have any hope of getting back in this game.
Definitely will. 96-64 the score as we go into the second half. Atlanta FaZe looking to get their first net in the series and extend it to another hard point, but it's a good start here for Atlanta FaZe. They get control of A, they capture 2 flags to 1, and more importantly, Abizi gets himself a double. He's not done just yet as he's jumped straight through the window. There's number 3. Number 4 for Abizi, the man just doing it all himself, and he's not done yet. There's another for Abizi as the kill feed lights up all red, and it lights up all in Abizi's name as he flies straight forward. It's actually going to take a team kill from Priesta to finally shut him down, but you said you wanted to see a good start at Seattle Surge. Unfortunately, you get just the opposite, an explosive start out of Atlanta FaZe.
And this is something interesting. I'll have to go back and watch old VODs, and actually Seattle doing a nice job of talking about B, but to touch on the old point, FaZe actually has a really nice setup where they're able to get someone underneath that like smokestack corner, and it's one of the more aggressive setups we've seen on this map, and I really think teams are getting down to the nitty-gritty of they are starting to figure out exactly how deep in someone's spawn you can push, exactly where you can position yourself and make sure that you still get the spawns you want, and I think we're seeing at least some micro adjustments of the evolution of how these teams play these maps.
I know we were talking a little bit midweek about a clip from Rambo Ray, coach of Dallas Empire, just kind of talking about exactly that, right? How aggressive can you really be? And some teams seem to have figured out that maybe you can be a little more aggressive than what was first expected.
And just real quick, in case it fades away, number 7 on the minimap, that's the exact spot I was talking about, by the way. Just someone sneaking in that little corner, holding the angle, and if they spawn behind you, they're going to jump over. You get to see your shadow and all that. Like, it genuinely is a pretty good spot, pretty good setup, and you see the pressure. Again, this is something we have seen very few times. It is not very often that you have players this aggressive with the AB setup, that deep in their spawn. In Seattle, I mean, what are you going to do? It's just, you're in a grave, basically. You're getting just put in such a bad spawn trap.
And keep your eyes on the minimap, right? For all of those red arrows of exactly how to hold that spawn trap. Because that's essentially what it is. Atlanta FaZe pinning Seattle Surge right to the back of the map. And then when you finally get through the first wave, you still have to deal with Major Maniac actually inside the B site. Finally, he will fall, but the reinforcements are already there. The damage has been brutal in the second half. 146-91, the score in favor of Atlanta FaZe. And if I'm honest, gents, I think now may be the time to start talking about Game 4.
I mean, it really is, and I think the important thing about Game 4, unless, Seattle pulls off a miracle, which, it's never over till it's over. I know some people are very passionate about that concept, but either way, I think really for Seattle, this is it's going to be a test of mental fortitude, right? You were up 2-0, you were feeling great, you had 2 nice wins back-to-back, you get hit with the 45-minute delay, whatever it is. That does not feel good to have to deal with. Then they get beat like this, completely bullied out. It is not easy to bounce back in situations like this, and Seattle has been put in situations like this time and time again, so we'll see if they can pull off something crazy, but they did take a battering here in map number 3.
It's not been pretty. Let's be honest, no point beating around the bush. It's been completely Atlanta FaZe dominant here in Game 3. Of course, after a big tech reset or tech pause, however you want to phrase it, Seattle Surge, a slow start. Really, they were never able to catch up. Apathy 9-26. That is definitely one of his worst stat lines he's probably ever going to put up in his career. Numbers you'd expect to see a player of that caliber put up. But either way, I think for Seattle, it's maybe time to just relax the comms a little bit, right? Refocus up. They were playing so well in Game 1 and Game 2. I mean, when we say so well, we're talking pretty much flawlessly for the most part. And honestly, I think they just need to mentally reset heading into game number 4.
And even like sort of dealing with adversity, you made the point during the search and destroy of it was 10 rounds of offense wins in a row. Seattle just by sheer luck effectively ended up on defense for the final round, and they won it, right? Like they were dealt a very difficult hand, they pulled it off and came up big. And similar situation, they're put in a difficult spot. They're gonna have to try to come up big, but 2-1 lead in the series, still not a bad spot for Seattle to be in. And I will say that stat line does look horrible. That is a symptom of you were a spawn trap the entire time, and Apathy's been the guy that has been trying to go on the solo mission to flip spawns and just put into the meat grinder.
Yeah, it's not been pretty. Again, go back, use the rewind feature on YouTube, and just take a look at exactly how Atlanta FaZe was able to pin Seattle Surge back. There was absolutely nothing they could do. This game has been over for realistically quite some time. The kill feed once again all red. The game will end with Atlanta FaZe in full control of pretty much everything, as it felt like they have the entire game anyway. One of the biggest score lines you're going to see this season, 199 to 123. Atlanta FaZe get their first map on board here in this series.
Hey, yeah, welcome back. I mean, that's what we were expecting to see, I guess, to a certain degree at the top of the show / series. But again, just an L is an L. If you lose by 1 point, you lose by, 76?
A lot.
A loss is a loss. It doesn't matter how big of a stat line difference this is for you. And, of course, Apathy down the line, I think we might be at the point where after this tournament is over, we're going to be like, damn, he had a KD of 0.6. Well, you take away that map, you might literally jump up to a 1.2. That is just an unfortunate stain, I would say, to have on this series for Seattle. But at the same time, on the positive side, oh man, FaZe looked phenomenal, Ben.
Well, I do want to just kind of go back in time, if you will, to our search and destroy. It seems like quite a while ago. I want to take a look at our U.S. Army tactical play. Around 11, the chances, as we both kind of mentioned already, it was an interesting search and destroy. It was every single attacking round 1. Seattle go into round 11 on the defensive side. First blood from Proto, and he opens up the entire B site.
And I really got to pull it up and make use of my 2-monitor setup. If I remember the round correctly,
have this yet, Chance? It's been weeks.
Look,
weeks.
All right,
You text me the
let's
other
talk
day
about the
saying
play
you had
first.
to. Okay.
Talk about the play first. Roast me later. I think the most important part about this play was Priesta on the map. We've seen him when he's coming on offense. Sometimes he goes on the full flank. Sometimes he hangs back and helps his team out. I think this was a time where he popped dead silence and tried to make a play through the green showers area, but then all the doors were closed, and then I think it was Pander who was sitting back, knew that occasionally that full flank might come in, so he's looking for Priesta that entire time. Eventually Priesta opens up that door, Pander kills him immediately, and that's the type of play that, yes, 8 other things were done well by Seattle on that map, but it's really making sure that here's all the things that FaZe might be able to throw at us when you're going over the Revadr view. Those are the things you always have to keep in the back of your mind of until we see Priesta, this is going to remain a possibility. Seattle stuck true to the game plan, and I think that was a very big factor in them having success, at least in the search and destroy.
Hey, well, you got a fantastic memory, because that's pretty much exactly what we just saw.
We do
fantastic round 11 from Seattle Surge. But we mentioned it earlier on at the start of the series, and I do want to bring it up again because to me it's a massive point for the Call of Duty esports community. The retirement of Damon Barlow, also, of course, often referred to as Karma, 3-time world
Or the GOAT,
champion.
a lot of nicknames.
One of the GOATs. Yeah, you can make the arguments all day where you have him listed 1, 2, or 3. It really doesn't matter, but we are talking about one of the greatest to ever play our game. I mean, 24 major championships, 13 tournament wins with the Optic Dynasty, won COD Champs in very first appearance. The only Canadian to win a Call of Duty World Championship. Is that correct? Ray was close.
Yes,
Ray was very close twice. That's unfortunate, but either way.
100% that's right.
As someone who has watched Karma play really since the very, very beginning of his career, thank you, Damon. Honestly, you provided some of the best moments. I actually watched a Karma top, I think it was like a top 10, and just hearing me have the privilege to cast over some of those moments, truly insane. So massive thank you. We'll take a look at our Astro Social soundboard as well. Damon, you've been my favorite player since Black Ops 2, ever since that Ninja Defuse. That was a classic. You did against Unite. You're my favorite pro, and you're always going to be the GOAT to a massive proportion of the community. It's the end of an era for Call of Duty, but it's going to feel amazing seeing you happier. Honestly, I share the same sentiment. As much as I would love to see Karma continue to play, I hope you enjoy your retirement, enjoy the family time. You definitely deserve it. And just to kind of touch on that Ninja Defuse, Nameless, for those of you that don't know, was the player that planted the bomb. We don't talk about this enough, man. Nameless, you got to be checking the bomb after you plant. It's rule number 1. Either way, some fantastic moments that Karma's been able to provide throughout his entire career, and some very, very memorable moments. There's so many of them, too many to pick from, if I'm completely honest. But either way, game number 4 about to get underway.
Game 4 underway, and just my 2 cents on Karma, by the way, because I'd like to be able to speak my piece.
Go for it.
One of the coolest parts to me was you get to see the impact of, like, when he announced their retirement, of all the replies, of not just, like, I forget sometimes about, like, the worldwide impact that, like, the CDL, Call of Duty scene, whatever it's going to be, has actually had. But seeing like, French pros, like French players, Italian, all across the world, kids in South, like, so many people across the world that are all fans of Damon. And that's just cool to see. Like, just one guy having that type of, like, literal worldwide impact and entertainment. He's a comical guy. Like, it really just nothing but positive things to say. I'm very sad that he's gone. I hope we see him again, sort of thing. But as you said, Ben, we do have actual Call of Duty to cast, and we'll see what happens in the match.
And Will Down, he wants to try and fight for a 4th ring. I'll never say no to that. But as you mentioned, our game number 4 underway. Seattle still with the lead in the series, 2-1. Game number 1 was just a thorough, very tactical kind of game, if you will, where Seattle was making all the right plays, the correct rotations at the correct times, fantastic holds, and Atlanta FaZe, as weird as it is to say this year, were just unable to answer what Seattle Surge brought to the table. And I'm curious to see what we get here in game 4. It's a battle of reloads. Cellium tries to get the knife out, Octane with the pistol switch, and that's a nice gunfight for him to win, because of course it helps Seattle Surge keep that spawn for the big.
And that is one of the situations where actually having a pistol in the back pocket comes into effect, right?
Yeah.
I think Simp was probably the first player, at least that I saw, where I made a mental note of, like, this is a ton of pistol kills that I'm seeing this man get, way more than you'll ever see a knife. So there are definitely uses for both of them. But either way, just more of a small detail in the actual game right now. Seattle turtled up in and around the hill, trying to keep FaZe at bay. But the setup is here. You got Priest and Major Maniac working their way around back. Priest does get that first blood on the entry. He's going to fall. Major Maniac, though, at least there for the first trade.
I do want to keep our eyes out on number 2 on the minimap. That's actually going to be Apathy. He starts off this game 7-2, a much better performance. And for those that love some stats, here's an interesting stat for you. The 933 performance, 0.27 KD, was the lowest KD in any DOM game this season. Apathy, though, being the champion caliber player he is, he has short-term memory for things like that. So expect to see a fast and furious game number 4 out of him. And this is the start that you want to see if you're a Seattle Surge fan from Apathy. 8-3 straight out the blocks. He's going to continue at that pace, and I'm sure he's going to try and fix maybe some KD woes for this event already.
And not just the KD, but that rotation from Seattle was gorgeous. Like, that's about as perfect as you could really expect to be able to get. Now you got Octane in the hill. He's got trophies. He's got the setup. Going to be on a head glitch. His teammates have everything else covered. Like, there's no room for them to try to go on a full flank, even though Abizi's trying to think about it. Now the pistol coming to effect more. It's Proto this time that's going to be showing it off. And right now, a perfect hold coming in from Seattle off of a perfect rotation where Ben, they're going to have a 60-point lead against Atlanta FaZe.
Keep up this pressure, though. Octane's still inside the hill. He's going to have to try and free fire Atlanta FaZe as they just soar straight inside the hill. Proto Pistol of his own. Slack's there to assist. For now, kill time still good for Seattle Surge. The rotation race is in. Atlanta FaZe should get there first. And bear in mind here, if you are Seattle Surge, you don't want to push too far. Yes, it's always nice to try and get a quick flank in, but you do want to try and keep this spawns, of course, for this hill, the one that follows.
I mean, hell, honestly, you can kind of like push too far. Like, you actually can, like, if you have an 80-point lead, you can actually afford to make mistakes and not play for spawns 2 hills. Yeah, because you actually have so much time to eventually go and get them. Just try to bury it as quickly as possible. So right now, playing with no fear is Seattle. They have a lot of options to them, and of course that means pressure's on FaZe. They need a big hill. They're going to let it get chaotic, and this is actually where the knife is going to be beneficial inside of the smokes. That's where it has its biggest advantage.
Speaking of poor performances, as we were earlier on, in hardpoint game 1, and also the search and straight with Priest slow to start. He's 8-12, but Abizi 4-12. Definitely going to have to try and turn things around if Atlanta FaZe want any chance of pushing a game 5. Still FaZe trying to contest the hill. It is still Seattle Surge control the spawns, and that's in a big part thanks to Octane, number 1 on the minimap. He sits at 14-7, but he's ready and waiting for Atlanta FaZe to try and push through with 5 seconds of scrap time left. That's good for Atlanta, but again, the rotation is in for Seattle. You mentioned it, the exact phrase was a good hold here could blow this game completely out. That was, of course, what you mentioned in game 1. Funnily enough, the same could be true here in game 4 for Seattle.
FaZe, though, do have a ton of pressure towards the back. It looks like Priest has already been able to get through, so he's going on the fullest of flanks. Proto, though, makes the read and puts him in the dirt. You love to see some kills like that, at least if you're a Proto fan. And if you weren't before, got to give the man some love. He is playing out of his mind this series so far.
So well. Welcome to the Call of Duty League. Proto, he sits now, I believe, like 12-6. Double positive here in game 4. And Atlanta FaZe can't even get close to the hill. Proto, first line of defense. He'll find himself another. The trades are coming in fast and furious for Seattle. The pistol out for Octane. That's not going to do much more work, but finally, FaZe can try and push the hill. Apathy will get caught there. Meanwhile, Octane already thinking about that rotation. Number 4, that's Proto, is pushed all the way around the outside. He has a big gunfight, which he's unable to win. Celium goes big for Atlanta FaZe, trying to lock in the spawns for P2.
Still a big opportunity. Again, we have talked about this P1 hill so often of like everyone puts so much pressure on the spawns. There is an opportunity, I think, to get a lot of time, and right now it's Seattle inside the hill while also fighting to get the spawns. So Seattle in a great spot. Celium is just going to get taken down outright. So Seattle, if they don't want to put all that pressure on the hill, well, they do get the spawns. They have been putting themselves consistently in very good positions. This is by far the best Seattle has looked all year.
Absolutely. Green Moors, first hill, 30 seconds left. Trades, again, fast and furious. Seattle still holding the spawns. This is about time, really, where you're going to see Octane maybe just sit back, not push forward, not even think about contesting, just lock down that spawn, something he's so good at. And it makes it so difficult to break when you have a player as talented as him really in that role. Abizi has just snuck behind one player from Seattle. That was Apathy, and Apathy gave 0 cares in the world because he had a teammate that could potentially deal with it. He makes the right play. He'll also find himself Celium. The trade still coming in, though, for Atlanta FaZe, but it's Seattle Surge, which, as the rotation comes through, are in control of the hill.
This is FaZe maybe trying to work on a bit of a momentum shift potentially in the series. Octane, though, picks up a very big entry double kill to start that offensive hold. It does appear that Celium's able to sneak around back, and, well, Seattle actually might start getting weird spawns, but no, Celium's actually just in the back free and clear. He's able to pick up one. Now all of FaZe are swarming towards the back. Octane inside the hill, has a little bit of support, able to take down 2, and all that time FaZe spent trying to get around back, it does not get them any hill time yet, but Celium, for whatever reason, is still there.
Yes, he gets himself 3. Not sure how that even happened. Make that. Oh, I thought that was Celium that jumped in. No, it was simple. Almost 4. But either way, one thing's for sure. Octane and Apathy are playing at a level which right now, at least, Atlanta FaZe cannot keep up with. Octane 24-13. Apathy 21-14. You have the slower pace. They are locking down the spawns. Then you have the up close and personal fast SMG play. Seattle Surge winning it on every single level. The rotation, though, starting to come through. And there will be a 2-on-1 in Seattle's favor here. Just one player from FaZe on that rotation. You see in there, Major Maniac just playing his life, waiting for the extra resources, the cavalry to arrive here from Atlanta FaZe. Priesta pushing through now. Again, no one in the hill just yet as it's contested. Priesta had to win that fight unsuccessfully, but teammates there to trade.
And Major Maniac actually just made a genius sort of play. He purposely made sure he did not put himself in the hill trying to be sneaky. And not only did he get only one kill, which isn't the best, but bought his teammates so much time to come give him support. FaZe was actually able to secure the spawns and just turn it into a sort of a dogfight where once FaZe gets the clearance, once they can push out the front of this hill, 22 seconds left, they're going to be good for all of it. So a very nice job by FaZe, who got bullied out on this hill last time around, to make the smart plays, to then just get the kills in thereafter and start to climb their way back into this game.
What was looking like it was potentially going to be a blowout game 4 may not be the case. Atlanta FaZe slowly but surely reduce the lead Seattle once had. We ran about 38 points as we rotate into the new hill, but Octane is still there. Finally, the trade from a BZ, he'll pick up 2. Atlanta FaZe have already broken the hill, and again, big picture, they have the spawns for the next hill as well.
This is just, again, maybe where the tides are really starting to turn. It seems like FaZe have been able to pick up that momentum shift, and I think it really all starts off with Selim, right? When it was a couple of hills ago, he goes on that 5 spree where he's able to stay alive in the back, where he picks up the 3-piece. Like, that was a push that if Seattle had stuck, we would have a very different scoreline. But now it's a BZ even starting to heat up, and FaZe looking to take the lead for what I would imagine the first time in the game.
Yeah,
I think you may be right there. Apathy has started to slow down. If he can find the pace that he had at the start of the game, maybe Seattle can close it out here without even having the fear of going the distance to a game 5 against Atlanta FaZe. 14 seconds of scrap time, still going to be heavily contested, but it's Atlanta FaZe with control of the spawns. Panda's going to have to be quick here. He has the support of a few teammates. These following gunfights are going to be absolutely crucial for Seattle Surge. If they want any chance of trying to break into this new hill quickly, they have to be fast here. You cannot be slow. The pinch starting to develop here from Apathy as well. Panda will be first to the hill, but he's going to have to deal with 2 players from Atlanta FaZe. He has no idea where to shoot, and it shows. Atlanta FaZe with a team wipe. Seattle back against the wall.
And that is a massive 2-piece picked up by Major Maniac again, just making the big plays. That might be one of the moments of the game. If Seattle, if they're able to break through on that hill, even cause it to be a little bit messy, they might have been in a great spot. Now, I don't even know if they're really going to be able to touch the hill again. 30 seconds is a lot of time. It is not easy. The push is in, though. They got 2 subs coming in the side door. BZ trying to be support, but Apathy actually is a nice flank developing.
He's going to have to, again, try and be a playmaker, though, because still, the reinforcements for Atlanta FaZe are coming very, very quickly. Apathy finally gets himself inside. He's found himself 1 kill. Hill contested. He knows roughly where to look for the second. I don't think he realizes that there's actually going to be 2 more players from Atlanta FaZe inside. 216 to 185. As a BZ gets a knife kill there onto Proto. Will rotate through. Bear in mind, while the chaos was ensuing, Octane did put himself right at the back of the map, ready for that P2 spawn. The problem is Atlanta FaZe can, of course, close this game out on this hill.
And I was going to say, this is the moment of, like, there's different times where you have to play hills differently in certain situations. This is a P1 where both teams can play it completely differently, and Seattle is going to be forced to. They can't afford to have their entire team sit in the back and lock down spawns, and that's why Sim's causing problems. Now he's drawing so many players back just for a couple moments that the opportunity for FaZe to try to just put that pressure inside the hard point, it is still there.
He gets him closer to the hill if nothing else, as the BZ now wants to fly straight forward. There's one, almost found the second. Hill still going to be neutral. 20 seconds left. Atlanta FaZe still can close out game number 4 here. Octane may have to try and find himself 1 or 2 big kills, but the nade is just enough. 5 more seconds. All Atlanta FaZe are going to need, and they will force a game 5. Seattle Surge, they can't even get close to the hill. Atlanta FaZe, the comeback there was massive in game 4. Chance they send us to a game 5 search and destroy.
They send us to a game 5, and I think they do it off the back of talent as well. I think, honestly, that was the biggest difference maker of just the skill ceilings of the 2 teams, because Seattle, from top to bottom, or from start to finish, I should say, played the game fairly well. They had a couple really good rotations, but the bigger moments came from just individual plays, whether it's Major Maniac just doing something smart, waiting for his teammates, or Selim going on a 5 spree with then a BZ. The next life goes on an 8. I think really that was the biggest difference maker. Just too many players on FaZe, too much talent who occasionally can just go off and take the game over, even if just for a brief moment. And I think that was the overwhelming factor for that game.
Seattle Surge were 1 map away from, of course, a 3-0. The domination was ugly, however. Atlanta FaZe got a little bit of momentum back in the series, and Seattle, for a moment there, almost closed it out there in game 4, but Atlanta FaZe with a fantastic comeback. As we get ready for game number 5, search and destroy on the cards, another game 5 on the day. I want to send it over now to a wonderful search and destroy St. Petro explainer, and we'll learn all things about S&D St. Petro.
Want to play search and destroy like a pro? Here's some S&D recon from the U.S. Air Force. This time, we're flying to Russia to get some recon on St. Petrograd. First, let's look at the spawns and bomb sites. The defense spawns right next to bomb site B. Really tricky to hit if you're on offense. However, bomb site A is in much more neutral territory and a lot easier to reach. Most pro teams tend to focus their early attention on bomb site A, so that's where we'll be focusing ourselves. If you're on defense, it's all about shutting down the offense's first push onto bomb site A. If you want to watch both mid-map and go for an early first blood, try starting right here with a sniper rifle. This is a great position to catch any attackers pushing the street or crossing the bomb site A. Let's see how God RX of the Minnesota Røkkr does it. If you prefer a more explosive defense, grab a grenade and run straight for bomb site A. Once you're on site, aim right for the car in front of the diner. If any attackers are running straight for the bomb site, they'll run right into the explosion. If you're on offense, don't forget all of the ways the defense can pick you off. If you're crossing to A, drop a smoke grenade to cover yourself crossing the street so you don't get sniped. But if you want to fight back, grab a sniper of your own and hop right up here like pro player Simp. If you're not the type to sit back for a pick, grab an SMG and a smoke and hit mid-map fast. Throw your smoke grenade towards the defense spawn and run straight for the bomb site. With a little bit of luck, you might just catch the enemy completely off guard. There's your S&D recon for St. Petrograd. Good luck down there.
That was a look, of course, at S&D Recon presented by the U.S. Air Force. A great look at exactly how to win Search and Destroy on this map. Shout out Nameless for the fantastic explainer. Of course, we've heard him explain it. Now we'll see who can take Game 5. Will it be Atlanta FaZe? Will it be Seattle Surge? If you're just tuning in, it was Seattle that went 2-0 up in the series before a nice... or I say nice, a fantastic, really domination from Atlanta FaZe. You could say maybe Seattle crumbled a little bit there, but a great comeback again there in Game 4 from Atlanta FaZe. And now, the St. Petro Surge.
And Seattle's got a way to unflip the switch that FaZe just turned on, right? Because they had, what, 60, 70, 89, whatever point lead it was, Seattle had that game in their hands. And FaZe, like, it's not like I don't think it necessarily slipped away from Seattle. I think FaZe ripped it from their hands. And again, they flipped that switch, turned on the gameplay. Seattle's got to find a way to get that bounce back. And not an easy feat. Not in Search and Destroy, but St. Petro, a map where Seattle can make some magic happen.
Game 2 Search was honestly one of the closer ones you're going to see all season. Every single attacking round 1 except the round 11 where Seattle were able to break that streak and of course take Game 2. Things start off well here for Seattle though. First blood, the nade shuts down a BZ. Seattle trying to hack the A site.
Actually, that second kill, actually, no, still the first. That stayed in the feed for such a long time. That threw me off for a second. I was like, hey, Slack, there's so many nades. Where are they all coming from? No, first blood, trying to get control of this A site. Celium, obviously, you can see sitting in that corner, just waiting to make his move. He is like a hunter waiting to pounce on his prey.
Celium just busts straight through this door. If he gets good timing, he may find himself a pick. The problem is, Apathy, it's his sole job to cover both the window, I say sole, both the window and the door. The nade goes out, doesn't connect. Celium just teasing. Observers as finally the peek comes through. Apathy was a little slow to react, but the trade came through nevertheless. Maniac considered 2 versus 4. Honestly, this round should be done and dusted. Simp's left all by himself. Bomb, of course, planted. Good luck. Have fun, Simp. You've made some great plays in your career. I just... don't have much faith in this 1v4, if I'm honest.
This one ain't it. I think if he had a nade available, he probably would have just blown himself up with it. But right now, that just means a lot of players collecting their dead silence for the next round. So Seattle, this is about as good of a round as you could possibly ask for. The nade coordination was there off the rip. And then you saw what has to be, I mean, generally, it's just good map awareness, but it also might be VOD research of knowing that someone's going to sit behind the door, apathy, again, waiting for that door to at least creak. And yes, he lets his teammate fall, but the trade was perfect. The situation was perfect. And that is another very good round of search and destroy coming out of Seattle Surge.
Okay, so we basically continue the story where we left off in game 2. One attacking round in the books. Seattle go 1-0 up. Atlanta FaZe, your turn. And you tie it up. Well, early on, it doesn't look like we're going to see an aggressive A push instead. Atlanta FaZe, you can see the resources they've sent mid-map. B push definitely on the cards. Oh, yeah, I did not see him. Oh, he does, but Panda almost won the fight. Celium wins it in the end. Slack's up top. Maniac just behind the door. Slack being so patient. You know, he's leveling the playing field here could be important. Meanwhile, Octane is just going to get gunned there by Beezy's. He jumps to the window. Slack is going to essentially run out of time if he doesn't make a play soon. Unfortunately for him, Major Maniac is just right behind the door. The pre-fire not enough. Major Maniac scrambling away. The hip fire from the pistol is just enough. Now it's Simp's turn to hip fire with a pistol of his own as he flies straight forward. Slack will drop, and Apathy is now left all on his lonesome for the 1v4.
He's going to get taken down instantly, and that means it is now, what, I think 12-1 in favor of offensive rounds so far in this series, which, I mean, some maps it's definitely lopsided. Gunrunner, obviously, offense very heavy, but 12-1, that is very absurd. And just generally speaking, I also kind of wish we had, like, coalition stats for, like, hard points, and just to see what, like, percentage just based on who gets what off the rip, but... Yeah. But unfortunately, we don't have that. But 12-1, just to keep in the back of your mind. Seattle obviously did a fantastic job on offense the first go-around, working towards the A site. Great nade coordination. And, well, now some nades to blow up your own car just to make sure you can run past. Maybe not for free, but definitely make the route a little bit safer.
Seattle, once again, trying to get in sight. They had a first blood 2 rounds prior, which thanks to Slack's nade. Unfortunately, no success this time. Said they've essentially been forced to just turtle up over towards A. The push will eventually come through, but Abeezy's watching the cross. Still, no first blood. Abeezy will have to back away. Closes the door right behind him. 50 seconds to go. Celium might be the playmaker here for Atlanta. Up top, great line of sight. In fact, it's Simp with the first blood over towards Slack. The call-out came through. Advantage Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, Sim from downtown underneath the tunnel it looked like, and now it's much more difficult because, yes, you got pressure in the site, but the man disadvantage means there's so many angles you cannot check, and Major Maniac in the perfect spot. He's got coverage. He's calling out to his teammates, hey, player up the stairs trying to jump up the box at Beezy. Go get you that free killer. At the very least, don't throw your life away, but Panda and Proto strike back.
Oh, and that's such good use from Proto! And the smoke grenades, he pushes up top. Almost found another for his efforts. Not going to be the case. Octane and Panda now, the 2 versus 3. Octane flies forward. There's number 1. The pre-fire is going to be enough. No, it's not. Atlanta FaZe win the round, but boy, oh boy, did Seattle Surge make that interesting.
Yes, they did. Octane almost had the play at the end, too, with the hip fire. Simp. I don't know how many players with a pistol would get that kill because Octane made the perfect read, but those come out on top in moments for Seattle. Like, again, even just generically, just to step it back from the series, even their S&D game alone, it's only been 14 total rounds, but they do look like a lot more well-organized.
Yeah, they most definitely do. I think you're seeing maybe a little more structure, that's for sure. Unfortunately, though, they do find themselves 2-1 down. Just for a moment there, I thought was going to connect to his own teammate. An interesting way to start off this round. However, Atlanta FaZe back on the attack first. Blood for Celium. It's very, very important here for Seattle Surge to just kind of try and retake control of the tempo of this game. You do not want to allow Atlanta FaZe to just run away with it.
Oh, and Abeezy, nice read on that gunfight. Just outplays Proto in this situation. And, well, that first blood strike is going to come off big because now you got the 5v3. And FaZe, they can take their time with it. They're not forced to plant the bomb. They're not in a hurry. They can effectively do whatever they want. Abeezy makes sure he's baiting out, helping his teammate out to get the free kills. And now you got Panda by himself for the 1v5. Good luck. Have fun, Atlanta FaZe. They flipped the switch halfway through that hard point. Apparently, they did not turn it back off.
Really continued at that pace.
That's the domination. Since that tech reset, baby. Oh, FaZe has been on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, they have. 3-1 up in this game 5. Seattle Surge. I hope they can, again, just get their foot back in the door just in this game 5. It feels like they're just, I don't want to say being ran over, but Atlanta FaZe are dictating the pace. And that's something which in game 2, of course, was incredibly back and forth. I want to see Seattle recompose themselves a little bit here as the nade launched out by Slack. There's the first blood from Octane. A much better start to this round, and he actually has one more player pinned. Unfortunately, no! The blood goes through from Priesta! It could be massive for him! He finds himself 3 in the kill feed. Seattle Surge just sat waiting for the inevitable to happen. And just like that, the round, which started off so well for Seattle, collapses before their eyes. Simp with the final pick mid-map. Atlanta, 4-1 up.
Man, I should have kept my mouth shut. What did I say? I think, oh, Seattle's looking very well organized, dude. They're looking great in search. And then like a round and a half later, Free Flank comes in for a triple kill to demolish the round where you get the first blood. I should have kept my mouth shut, and I apologize. I know it's my job to talk, but I should have kept my mouth shut.
I know we've mentioned a lot about Seattle specifically on this map and mid-map flanks that have often come through against them. Well, there's a prime example of a player doing a ton of damage. Octane says, you know what? Screw sniping to cross. I'm actually just going to snipe over towards the site. Connects with one. Celium goes down. There's a player right in front of you. Thank you for the hip fire accuracy there from Apathy. He'll shut down a BZ. Now you have yourself a 2-man advantage this round, Seattle. And you close this one out. Or potentially 3v5 on the cards for Atlanta FaZe.
Seattle right now just not making any mistakes. Apathy, he can hear Major Maniac, and of course closing the door makes it even more obvious. You got what, a player in the back of the map, Pander, making sure to watch the full flank. Like, they have the setup that they want. You don't make a mistake.
Oh no, this is how it begins, Chance. One pick can very quickly turn to 2. Priesta is going to be a nuisance at the back of the map. If he does find a second quickly, which he does, this is looking bad now for Seattle. There's the snipe from 5v3. You blink, and it's a 2 versus 3. Seattle Surge potentially throwing this round right out of the window. Barring a nice little clutch here from Apathy and Slacked, but unfortunately for them, they have no control, and Priest has put himself tucked away nicely into a corner, watching the entire cross. It's a good read from Slack, though. Experience says, don't just wildly run out. At least try and find a different angle to get back towards the site. But still a lot of work to be done here for Seattle. Slack flies straight forward into Toxic. Finds Major Maniac. Now 2v2. 28 seconds left on the clock as Seattle's desperately try and hunt down both remaining Atlanta players. It's Simp and Priesta up. Priesta takes his time, lines up the shot. Now a 1v1. Apathy versus Simp. 15 seconds on the clock. Apathy surging straight forward. Can he find the pick? He can! 12 seconds left. Has he got enough time to get to the bomb? He does it! And Apathy saves the day for Seattle Surge. A round which looked like they'd thrown it completely out the window. Apathy heroically saves it in the 1v1 against Simp. Seattle stay alive now in the game 5.
Oh my God, I cannot begin to possibly express how important that round is. For the situation of Apathy caught mid-mantle, Simp with the timing for the read for him to win that gunfight. If you blow a 5v3 like that when you're already down a couple rounds, that would have been beyond devastating. It would have been beyond devastating of a series. So shout out to Apathy, man, world champ, trying to hit that form again. Put it on for his team right now, but still a couple rounds just to even tie the series up. Seattle, talk about the pressure being on.
A lot of work still to be done for Seattle Surge. And it's the new man on the block who's been fantastic, really, in every game mode, struggling here in game 5. 1-6. If he can find the form he had in game 2, maybe, just maybe, Seattle could tie things up. It's going to be Octane, though, mid-map with a sniper rifle. He spots one, and I believe that's actually going to be Celium. He should know. Maybe re-peeking might not be a good idea. I think his COD sense is tingling a little bit there, that maybe Octane was trying to pre-aim, and well, unfortunately for Octane, he may get some bad timing of his own if he looks away. Just like that, it's always the timing that goes against you. Simp first blood, though. He'll shut down Panda. Advantage Atlanta FaZe.
And talk about selling him with the map knowledge of knowing exactly where he can stand, exactly what the angles are. Major Maniac, though. Nate is going to connect, no. Doesn't kill him, and Abizi gets the double kill. He gets traded out, but then the trades on trades on trades. All of a sudden, it is Slacked by himself. He's already gotten 2 kills. He's got to get the next 3.
Working on a theoretical ace. Not going to happen. Atlanta FaZe from 2-0 down in the series put himself at match point, and they have a few rounds to burn as well. 5-2 lead here in game 5.
This is shaping up to be like, I came into the series with a very strict expectation of what was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, like, Seattle, they gave me hope. And then 2020 just comes back and smacks that hope down again. This is a tough situation. I mean, game's not over yet. Seattle trying to work on that bounce back. They've done a halfway decent job of getting the first bloods, and they do not get blooded yet. Working on that comeback then.
Marginally away. First blood, though, does come through for Seattle Surge. Once again, it's Slacked. Will shut down a BZ. However, unfortunately for Slap mid-map, Priesta just flew straight at him. As soon as the stun connected, he had license to push and license to try and trade out. Proto's still struggling here in game 5. 1-7. Been unsuccessful finding kills in a couple of rounds now. Panda with a lot of work, though, has to deal with some pressure at the backside of the map. It's Priesta that's applying the pressure. And Priesta, she says, nope, don't actually want any of this. You know where I am? I'm just going to back away and just kind of force you to stay at the back of the map, really giving maybe a number advantage to Atlanta FaZe elsewhere on the map.
There's some very strange sort of Priesta Panda battle that's been going around this B site, but right now FaZe again are starting to run out of time just a little bit.
The timing as Proto does find his second. Priesta drops. Now 4 versus 3. There's nothing at A. Atlanta FaZe can really only go towards B. The kills do start coming through again. Seattle Surge seem to survive here in the game 5. They'll win this round. They still, however, find themselves down 5-3.
And something that was happening to FaZe, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, last time we saw them play on this map, the past couple times we've seen them play St. Petro S&D, they sometimes do take a very long time before they make the commitment to try to get the bomb down to the B site. And it wasn't as egregious there, but at least just a few weeks back, it was multiple rounds in a row where they were giving themselves like an extra 10, 15 seconds to work with over towards the site. They were burning a lot of time off the clock, so they're a little bit faster now, but still they are putting themselves in a position where it's tough to get to that B site without a lot of time.
Round number 9 underway. Seattle again on the attacking side, and again seem to be looking at the A site as their initial push. If they can find a pick elsewhere, maybe the rotation will come through. Keep your eye on number 9 though, top of the minimap. It's Priesta, also working with Simp on a big flank. It's going to be a slow flank, not as quick as one we saw previously from Priesta, where he pushed straight through mid-map, but if his teammates can delay the push mid, that's going to be massive. Panda's in a whole world of pain. Priesta trying to hit that flank. He does still have the support, but for now at least Atlanta FaZe are chipping away at the time. 48 seconds remain. Proto first to push straight through, and unfortunately for Panda, he does get hunted down by Simp. Man advantage for Atlanta FaZe.
Still, though, flank is being watched. Seattle really on the front end. They got to put the pressure over towards the actual site. That's what Apathy's trying to do. And, well, maybe be able to get this bomb down. So, yes, the flank was open. But now, actually, FaZe, instead of going for the flank, which Octane is still watching, all of these players, it seems like are going to wrap back and try to get it through tunnels.
Oh, quick push from Selim. Doesn't find the pick, but stays alive, at least himself. The trades need to come through quickly. It's Apathy with the double. The quick reload and the challenge surely should come through. Priesta L-triggering back away, but Apathy explodes into this game 5 from a massive 1v1 clutch at the end, a few rounds prior to a 3-piece again to keep Seattle alive. Atlanta FaZe still just one more round needed to close out this series.
And I'm stressed out from sitting in the comfort of my own home with the AC running, casting it. I can't imagine what it's like playing in this series right now. The pressure again, absolutely on. Seattle still working on that comeback phase, though, on offense. Again, it has been somewhat of a theme. If they're working towards this B site of the time has not been their friend. It looks like if not playing for picks, they're going to be leaning this way once again. And the car explosions, 2 for 2 in 2 rounds. Not quite back-to-back, but whatever. Seattle get that first blood.
And if you're Seattle here, you cannot give anything up as Panda shuts down Priesta. A 5v3, but we've seen 5v3s for Seattle slip away in this map. So far this series, if it wasn't for a crazy clutch towards the end, Major Maniac does shut down Slacked, but that gives you just a brief moment to collect your thoughts here of your Seattle Surge. A 4 versus 2. Major Maniac and Simp up for Atlanta FaZe. Octane falls. Now 2 versus 3. You still have to deal with Apathy, Proto, and Panda from Seattle Surge. Bomb, of course, has fallen towards Water Street, and it's going to be Simp's job to try and retrieve it. Major Maniac shuts down Proto, and just like that, a 2v2. The saving grace, if you're a Seattle Surge fan, is this man, Apathy, is still alive. It's Panda's job just to at least spot out the push, and if he can find a pick, that's perfect. We'll make it a 2v1. Simp, last man up, bunny hops around the corner, and Panda doesn't even need the help. Seattle Surge down, but not out. Take us to a round 11.
Game 5, round 11, where from day one, Seattle just had a problem in search and destroy. They had a massive problem in the game 5s where they were never finding success. I think coming into the day, they were like 1-4 in game 5s. And of course, now it's even better, right? You got the round 11. You're trying to make up for the storyline. You've got the new roster. You're trying to build something. They do not have a win against a team that is not named the Los Angeles Guerrillas. And if their first one against is FaZe, that would be impressive, but it is not easy at all.
Atlanta FaZe 3-1 in game 5s on the season. Seattle Surge 1-4 in game 5s on the season. This goes to a round 11. We start things off on board with Simp, the first line of defense for Atlanta FaZe, over towards A, and he is not playing afraid. He is pushed forward. If he can find 1-2 players, that would be massive. For Atlanta, you don't really have to worry about the B push. It hasn't really come through from Seattle Surge at all this map. I don't really think we're going to get to see it here. It's Proto tucked away into a corner. Really knows he has to wait for his teammates. He has to slide straight past Simp. Doesn't even know he's in the corner. Well, Simp's flowing straight out. He shuts down Apathy. The trade does come through. 4v4 after a scary start if you're a Seattle fan to this round. Time ticking, 37 seconds on the clock.
Time is ticking. Proto going to get the nade out. A couple players tagged up. They are still watching the flank, and it's not coming. Octane with the blood. A little bit more clearance to the site, but that clock, again, the pressure is going to be on him. BZ around the back. He's going to be able to pick up the double kill to shut down Proto. And now you got what? Celium versus 2.
18 seconds. 1v2 for Celium. He's clutched so many of these in his career. Can he find another one? With 12 seconds, bomb is being planted. If he can find the pick just in the nick of time, maybe he wins the round and he gets it. 7 seconds, can he battle away? Celium, just barely, by the skin of his teeth, escapes. Is the bomb going to be planted? 1 second! No! Atlanta FaZe! Atlanta FaZe! In a millisecond, win the round 11. And boy, oh boy, did Celium peak that at the perfect time. Octane falls, Panda not close enough to trade or plant the bomb. That, honestly, one of the best series you're going to see all year long.
That is also one of the most heartbreaking series I think you're going to feel or see for the Seattle Surge. I guess they just never knew where Celium was, never had the information because the coverage was like Panda was nearby. They just couldn't have known he was in that corner. You got to watch up top on the window. You got to watch the flank. And the perfect play from Celium towards the end. And a devastating first series, at least for these two teams, or at least for Seattle, but a hell of a series nonetheless.
And very, very worried that Celium was probably top apps. That was really where he put a lot of his attention, maybe even the flank there as well. Unfortunately, Celium was tucked away in the corner where just a quick peek at the perfect time is enough for Atlanta FaZe to complete the reverse sweep. We'll take a look at our Scuff Gaming play of the game, but I mean, it's obvious, is it not? Celium right at the very end in the round 11 peaks perfectly to kill Octane moments before the bomb goes down. And unfortunately for Panda, I mean, we are talking, what, half a second? Probably even less, quarter of a second.
Less than that, man.
Like, that's how close this round. I mean, keep your eye at the kind of timer really here. With 5 seconds left, Panda makes his way over towards the bomb. The plant's coming through, and right about there, I mean, if you've ever seen a heartbreaking way to lose a round 11, that, unfortunately, is going to be one of the worst you're ever going to see. And unfortunately for Seattle, who I will give a ton of credit, just fundamentally looked a lot better. Let's not kind of forget the expected result here was Atlanta FaZe kind of come through in 3-0, and this was going to be a very simple series. So a ton of credit to Seattle for, first of all, showing massive signs of improvement. I'll give them a ton of props for that. Looking very, very fundamentally good in a fair few game modes. I mean, they lost that search and destroy by 0.2 of a second, 0.1 of a second. I mean, their improvements have been massive, but unfortunately for them, man, another loss to start their tournament.
Yeah, we can pick and choose so many different storylines. I think the final kind of point, like at the end of the day, this is a team with another new roster that they have had a week of practice, if that, like a week and a day or something like that, with another new man. This is a team playing with 2 substitutes from their roster, at least from how they started the year. And they just went up against a team that has a 15-2, well, now 16-2 record overall. 2 round 11s. You lost a 1v2 at the end. It is heartbreaking for them to lose it in that fashion, but at the same time, they did look damn good, Ben, and that gives me quite a bit of hope for this team going down the road.
Sure does. Of course, still some games to come. We have Florida Mutineers versus Chicago Huntsmen next, and then our Game Fuel marquee match to close out the night. That is going to be a great one. Dallas Empire versus Minnesota Røkkr. Honestly, make sure you stay tuned for that. Get your popcorn out. It's going to be really Clash of the Titans, if you will. Just overall, a ton of good quality to come. And I think when we kind of did our prep for this weekend, I think everyone kind of agreed that just in general, the standard has been increasing week in, week out. And we expect great things from the Minnesota home series.
Yeah, I mean, I think not even just about, every single team this year that we've had a storyline of either, well, sometimes the teams that look fantastic randomly fall off, teams that we don't have a lot of expectations for, like even a Florida, just come out and straight up win a tournament. They exceed expectations. All the teams that were towards the bottom, like the Guerrillas, apparently maybe starting to turn things around. Their roster looked great. And even Seattle, again, the teams towards the bottom look pretty damn good in that series. So most competition we've ever had so far in Call of Duty, living up to that expectation.
Well, completely agree. Congratulations to Atlanta FaZe. They'll take the victory, as I'm sure many people probably would have expected, but not in that fashion. Seattle Surge, massive signs of improvement. That's everything from myself and Chance for today. We'll see you guys tomorrow, but still more action to come.